And in the US and in Europe, we are embracing this without saying anything. And when our religion is opposing the whole thing, that leads to a war. And of course, now they're isolating Vladimir Putin because Vladimir Putin has basically the role at the moment of defending the orthodoxy, which is against the mark of the beast. And I'm sorry, but Obama is just endorsing the mark of the beast. And he tried to do it in 2010 when he wanted to, when it comes down to the Obamacare. He's not managing with the Obamacare. He might come up with another way of implanting the microchip, but it's the biggest danger.
Did you just see his recent interview that he did about ISIS? And he's giving this press conference, and behind his head, there were these horns, and it looked like it was coming out of his head. Did you see that?
I did.
Amazing. I don't know if it was just a fluke or what, but still it was like, whoa,
Art imitates life.
And some people said that he sounded like he was in a bunker or something, And I don't even know about this whole ISIS thing, what's going on with that. I mean, it just seems to go from ISIS to ISIL to to this, to that, the other. Leah, we were talking about Putin. I heard that he's ready to kick some ass. I think I can say that here now. Yeah, kick some butt here in the coming bits. He's not being taken seriously.
Well, it's not been taken seriously, and the problem is that soon we will have to take him seriously because as soon as the cold weather comes in Europe, and he's already closing down the gas by 30%, we will basically be freezing to death in the next few months here in Europe because of this war. So, there is going to be some visible effects to these conflicts. It's very sad. At the same time, we have to, of course, America is a great country because it offers us the possibility, like you said at the beginning of the show, in an FCC regulated FM dial to actually be able to say these things. This is something that the US has to stand for, the freedom of speech. And that's why I came to the US, and I'm grateful to have found somebody like Brad with CCC Publishing, because here this book is actually the first one of a long series of books. And I can say that these books have created, in Italy, when they came out, the trilogy, created even an official response from Freemasonry, because the Grand Mastership was attacked very profoundly, because my criticism on contemporary Freemasonry is especially based on the fact that this world kind of federation that the US has gathered of regular or so-called regular lodges is becoming like a globalist way of putting together Freemasonry. Now, the single lodge doesn't have any more the sovereignty it used to have. Because if you're a lodge, you're sovereign. You know that, Donnie.
Yeah, well, actually, really, you know what just happened here at our Blue Lodge here in Long Beach? Somebody attacked it. Just busted down the beautiful front plate glass windows, and I'm like, gosh, it's kind of weird timing. Here I come, Freemason on the air here, and now my brothers are being attacked. It's a little. No,
we have to be. The thing is this: when I went, for example, on Sean Stone, I said very clearly something. The important thing for Freemasonry now is to distance themselves from certain lobbies and also from black magic. Now, if you let black magicians and I'm sorry to say, there is some in the OTO that have been, even close to CCC Publishing, like Lon Milo Duquette. He's a Freemason, but he's an OTO deputy grandmaster. Now, as Lon Milo knows very well, by going inside the egregore of a lodge, he's polluting it with his own occultistic ideas. So I'm against having these OTO people within Freemasonry in the US being not only participating, but actually taking prominent roles. So it's leading a lot of lodges astray, and it's also leading a lot of people outside of Freemasonry to believe that they are Satan worshippers. Either you oppose things very strongly and you reaffirm the character. We have to understand that real Freemasonry is Christian without a doubt. That is really, the history of Freemasonry is that. Of course, it was open to a more universal approach. Donnie knows very well the history of Freemasonry led to embracing all religions, and of course, Freemasonry became the perfect tool for what the New World Order is doing now. And that's why For me personally, I don't, since 2006, I've not been actively involved with Freemasonry anymore. I still keep my apron and stuff, and at times I can even be invited to a lodge to give a speech, but I don't participate to regular lodge work anymore because all the Grand Masters are basically doing what every other institution is doing, and this is also within the church or within the political institutions. So it's not really a problem with Freemasonry. It is a problem with contemporary society, which gives more value to materialism. And that is one of the main problems, I think. Not the spiritual side of Freemasonry basically is dying, but also the spiritual side of the Catholic Church is dying. And in all this, a big part of it has the prophecies. So the prophecies that something is really, at one point, will trigger. The moment we are talking about poverty and security, these are words from the Bible. Poverty or security. I don't know if, Donnie, you know that passage in which it's mentioned poverty and security. The moment you will hear these two words, they are about to send everything to hell. And that is actually, I mean, that is a very, I mean, now I don't know this.
They want to.
They absolutely want to send, but they, of course, they all talk about security. They all talk about peace. They all talk about peace and security, which are two words that are really kind of a bit of a contradiction, because unfortunately, security these days is everything but peaceful.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, if security means bombing people left, right, and center, of course, it's not. We have the United Nations is the biggest bunch of hypocrites on the planet. Maybe regarding their hypocrisy, we should also remember that they had a role in this latest thing which is happening in the Vatican, because the Vatican now is being kind of put on the side, and they had to arrest a few cardinals, bishops, whatever, remove them and start this process, because the United Nations has, as Brad also knows, at the beginning of 2014, asked the Vatican to change their policies regarding pedophile and to start becoming a little bit more hard.
Right.
And so at the end, the Vatican had to do something, but it's more of a show, because, as I said, the United Nations is all part of a show. But the United Nations also is doing this so they can diminish the sacrality of the Vatican. The Vatican has to become, and we saw this with the arrival of Pope Francis, just like every other congregation. The Pope can't be seen anymore as a divine person.
Let's do this. We got about 30 seconds before we go into break. This is a great point to make a little stop here as we go into the top of the hour, because the next hour is going to be filled. This is getting into some serious stuff, guys. You're listening to 32 Degrees of Insanity right here on K-Beach 88.1 FM-HD3. That is KKJZ right here in Los Angeles, Long Beach, right here on the Truth Frequency Radio Network as well. Stick around. We'll be back here with Leo, Lion Zagami, Brad Olsen, and myself, Ben. We'll be right back here on 32 Degrees of Insanity on KBeach, kbeach.org.
Truth Frequency Radio.
The wicked ones obviously under heavy Masonic influence.
He's a real nowhere man, sitting in his nowhere land, thinking all his nowhere plans for nobody. Doesn't have a point of view, knows not where he's going to. Isn't he a bit like you and me? Nowhere land, please listen. You don't know
All right, guys and gals, we are back down at Olsen, Truth Frequency Radio Network, 10:01 in the PM, 9/25, 2014. We are KBeach, that is kbeach.org, 88.1 FM, HD3, KKJZ, right here in Los Angeles, Long Beach, California State University. I want to thank you all for joining me for the second hour of the show. The first hour, we had some very incredible news. We actually had some history happening right here on 32 Degrees of Insanity. If for any reason you missed it, it's really easy to listen to the good old archives. All you have to do is go to www.32degreesofinsanity.com or give me a couple days, and I'll put tonight's show up at www.spreaker.com. That's Spreaker. You can download the app, and you can listen free, commercial-free, to our show here. Gives me about every 2 days after I do a show on a Thursday night. Takes me a couple days to upload it. I might get it up really soon tonight. And feel free to share it with amongst your friends and everybody. Tell everybody a little bit about 32 Degrees of Insanity here at California State University in Long Beach. This is a great forum for us to talk about some of the evildoers that are here in the world, things that are the conflict that we are having with our own governments. And as a Freemason myself, you know, I really want to debunk and I want to take away and bring Masonry back into the light that it used to have many, many years ago. Over the last 100 years or so, we have seen it take a decline because of all of this like darkness that has surrounded it, the clouds that have surrounded it. And it's not because of Freemasonry, it's just because of some of the individuals that have been involved in it. And I think a lot of my brothers out there would agree with me that, you know, these are difficult times, and these are things that we need to start bringing Freemasonry back into the light and giving their correct information to the world about who and what we really are and what our intentions are, what the so-called, I could say, the Masonic agenda is. You know, it's not any different than your government agendas or your spiritual agenda. It's just good men being good men and good men wanting to learn more about their own selves and networking within that. And I think that's where we need to go. Alfred Weber and I talked about the positive timeline. I talked about the collective consciousness and the collective unconsciousness, which Carl Jung liked to talk about. That's why I believe that we are going down this so-called positive timeline. These are things that we are doing because we are working against the grade. We are working against these evildoers, these reptilian-type minds. These are some evildoers out there, but we will win and humanity will win. I have no doubt about that whatsoever. But I want to bring my good old co-host, Ben, onto the show. Ben, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So you've been kicking back listening, brother?
Yeah,
Yeah, good stuff tonight, huh?
absolutely. Yeah.
How's everything on your side? How's the job? Now are we figuring out now? Or now what are you?
Yeah, I'm home now. I got home about 5 minutes ago.
Oh, you did? Okay, perfect. So
Yeah.
this is perfect. We do this, bring you on, early, and then you can listen on the ride home, and then join us for conversation in the last hour.
Right.
That's perfect. Good news for me today.
What was that?
I found a house.
Oh yeah, I did see a message about that.
I did. Me and my buddy who's listening right now, actually the whole gang, they're listening out there like, yeah, give me a shout out, man. I was over hanging out with them prior to coming on to the show tonight, and they're like, man, we like your show, Donnie. They're great. I mean, they're like my family. How I met these individuals was, I was living in this little neighborhood here in Long Beach, kind of very close to California State University. And I was walking home from school one day, and it was late at night, and here was this bunch of people hanging out in front of this house, and they were eating Little Caesar pizza. And I kind of introduced myself to them and, said, hey, what's up? And they're like, well, why don't you just hang out with us, And so I started hanging out with them, and one thing led to another. We all became friends. And one of the particular individuals that I became friends with is we're moving into this house together. And just things just fell into place. And also I want to thank a lot of the listeners out there that helped my laptop. Did you hear about this? My laptop got stolen last week or 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, and a whole bunch of stuff in there.
And
yeah.
I have no one to blame but myself. I let it down. I laid it down. I was out and about, had my backpack with me. I laid it down, and I took my